All right, so before we start kind of previewing this year, I want kind of just a quick recap of last year, the lessons that you think the team can take away from last season, especially the players that are returning into your team this year.
Yeah, you know what? Last year was very similar to the year before. Somewhat unfortunately, we started off really slow. We were 0-3. We had a couple blowouts first two games. Just kind of looking for an identity. And in high school football, when you get behind, momentum can really roll, and a snowball effect just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And we got behind the eight ball a little bit there. We started to play better week three against Lakeview, and really turned it around after that. We won, I think, four of our last five or five of our last six, something along those lines, and finished the season really well. But the last two seasons we were 0-4 in 2 years ago, and then we were 0-3 to start last year. So I feel like we have a good idea of who we are, how we want to play on offense and defense. And, a lot of these guys have an understanding of what we want to do, what our game plan is overall. So I think that will help considerably. This is a very senior led team with great leadership. So I really think that'll help put together a really strong year for us.
When you talk about who you are, one of the things we know about Liberty football, always in for a treat, always in for a thriller. You guys excite everybody, whether it be amazing comebacks, whether it be close games down the stretch. I mean, the big question is like, how's your heart rate as a head coach of this team the last 2 years?
Well, it's funny. I was on Facebook the other day and it showed a picture, looking back to 6 years ago or 5 years ago. I think it was five. And it was right before I got the job. And all of my hair was dark brown, man. It looked great. And as you can kind of tell, it's gotten a little gray over the last couple of years. Uh, but hey, man, it's worth it. I love my job. It's stressful and it wears on me a little bit, but I love it, and I'm looking forward to another year of growing more gray hair.
I think most of that stress comes from the games you guys play. What do you think attributes to the football team's ability to get into really exciting situations, score really quickly, have those high flying plays, make the big comebacks, win down the stretch, things like that? What do you think it's just a fluke thing, or do you think there's something about your team that helps them in those kind of situations?
For one, we have great athletes. There's no getting around that. We have some phenomenal athletes here, and the mindset that they have is not to quit. We've been down 14, 21, 28, and our kids just keep coming because they know we can score in the blink of an eye. And that first year I was here, that happened. First game I ever coached, we were down 12-0 at the half, and everybody was kind of hanging their heads. That was kind of the way that the seasons have been going prior to that. And I said, hey, this isn't us anymore. Okay, we're going to come back. We're going to score some points. We're going to win this game. Come together as a team, and we did. We scored 30 unanswered, won the game, and since that point in time, we've kind of adopted the mentality that we're never going to give up. We're going to fight, and I think that's played a big role.
So let's go into the meet the team segment of the show where we kind of asked you to talk about your roster, the big names that we have to be aware of in Liberty football this year, and maybe some new faces that will be introduced to us as well.
Yeah, we'll start with some seniors who are returning. The one area that it doesn't always get all the headlines and talked about enough is the offense and defensive lines. But I'm starting there because we got pretty much everyone back at offense and defense, so I'm excited about it. Brady Morgan was our best lineman last year. He returns this year. He's about 6'3", 240 pounds, big strong kid, fantastic leader. Just kind of understands when he can have some fun and when he needs to be serious. He's got a great personality too. But he's been great in the weight room, great on the field. He's really an all-around great leader. He'll play offensive tackle and defensive end, but we can move him around up front. But a lot of other guys coming back. Christian Barber at center and on the defensive line. Luciano DiNardo is another returning starter. Justin Nelms and Isaiah Gonzalez, Terrell Blackshear, all those guys are coming back up front. Not to mention Sean Thomas, who was a really good player for us last year on defensive line. So I'd say we got a pretty good group of sorry if I lost you there for a second. Um, and I think a lot of people know the name Dwayne Moody. His younger brother our quarterback, and I think he'll do a little bit of both as far as run and pass. He has the dual threat capability. Really looking forward to doing some different things with him to keep offenses off balance. Shamir Franklin was our starting running back last year. He returns along with a guy named Dion Tutwiler. And he's an outstanding athlete. He has breakaway speed, and the overall strength is just unreal. The kid has a lot of athletic ability. So looking forward to that, having him. On the outside, Juju Farrell is a receiver, 6'3", 175 pounds. He's a returning starter. Who am I missing here? Oh, Dermonti Franklin, another senior who will play on both sides of the ball, be a safety for us on defense and a slot receiver on offense. Very talented. And Tayon Sly is probably the other guy who I haven't mentioned yet. 6'2", 170 pounds. Incredible. Hope my connection's staying with you. It's kind of going in and out again because, that's how it works.
We got most of that, Coach. Most of that. A little choppy here and there, but most of it, I think we got the gist of the big names that are going to be on your roster. Want to ask you also about the schedule you put together this year. We'll start with the conference you play in, the MVAC. Always pretty good. What do you expect out of the conference this year, and how do you expect to, make waves in it?
I think the conference runs through Garfield. Them and Brookfield have been the head honchos the last 3-4 years. I think, pretty sure Garfield's won at 3 of the last 4. We've had really good games with them the last few seasons. We had the lead on them 2 years or 3 years ago in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes to go when they were undefeated and we couldn't hold on. Then last year we were right there with them, and we had a couple miscues on special teams right before half. They scored 21 points in like 2 minutes. But, the conference is good overall. I think Brookfield and Garfield are 2 of the best teams in it on a yearly basis. I think they will be again this year. And, one of our team goals is to compete for a conference title this year. I think that's something that's realistic. But, to make it happen, you got to be consistent. We've been inconsistent a lot over a couple of years. And we need to both changes we made and just the personnel that's returning.
Coach, then I want to talk about the non-conference schedule you put together to get ready for that the first 3 weeks of the season. What teams pop up, and who are you excited to test yourself against?
Still there, Anthony?
Yep, I'm here.
You catch
asking about the non-conference schedule that you put together this year. Who pops up on it?
Okay, Girard, JFK, and Lakeview, all teams that are formidable. Starting off with JFK, they had a little bit of a down year last year. They don't have many of them at JFK. They've won a state title. They've been to the state title game on multiple occasions. They bring in some guys this year who I don't think many people know about, including us. But we'll find out in the next couple of weeks with scrimmages and film work to see what's back there. And I'm curious to see. That first week is always tough to game plan for because you don't know what you're going to get. They don't know what they're going to get either, so it's pretty equal. But that's always a challenging week to prepare for. Girard, every year is good, and I feel like we've played terrible against them the last 2. That's our arch rival, so it's hurt a little bit worse than some other losses, considering how badly they beat us the last 2 years. So I think we're all itching to get back out there and prove ourselves against Girard. And then Lakeview, I think Lakeview is a team that not many people are talking about that could be really good this year. They're always big and strong, and I know they have a pretty good quarterback who just came there. I think he was at Lakeview, left, came back. Anyway, I think they're going to be a really good team, and I think that's a good matchup for us. I think all those teams are going to be pretty tough, but that makes us ready for the playoffs. It makes us ready for the conference. So we're looking forward to all the challenges that are in front of us.
Coach, we can't let this interview pass without talking about your coaching staff and the people that you have put in place to help you run this program. We know you get the interviews, but you don't do it alone. So talk about the people that work behind you and the people that make this program great.
Yeah, I could talk a long time about it because one thing I've learned over the years is you're only as good as the people who surround you. And I got a really great group. I got a couple new guys on staff this year, a couple of guys in some new roles. Mark McGlynn is going to be running the offense, and he's done a fantastic job as far as just getting our guys structured, organized, understanding what we're doing, how we're doing it. And Todd Smith is the defense coordinator, is also our athletic director. He's one of the hardest working guys I've ever been around. So uh, he does a great job overall. And the new guys are Joe Threets from Warren G. Harding and also another Harding guy named Antonio Reed. Both of those guys have been fantastic additions to the staff. They bring a lot of credibility to the kids, to the team, and really provide some discipline that we really need here. Jason Stouffer, another guy who does a great job for me on offense, and Tony Corso has been one of the guys who's been with me since I started here, and another really hard worker, great guy for to watch film with and to kind of pick his brain on those things. And Dave Davis. Davis was my coach back in the day, my position coach. She's gonna always gets mad at me when I mention that, but I have to do it. There's a few other guys who are on staff, John Murphy, and I think I think I got almost everybody. Hopefully I didn't. I probably missed someone. They'll make fun of me when I get back, but that's part of the fun of being on a good staff. You bust each other's chops quite a bit.
Especially the head honcho, right? He's always going to be the target of all the jokes, right?
Absolutely.
Coach, we want to thank you for your time. Wish you the best of luck. Week 1, August 23rd, at home against Warren JFK. We know Leopard Nation will be out there in full force. We can't wait to also be there all year broadcasting you guys. And man, we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right, thanks for having me. I apologize for the technological issues. I'll work on that in the future somehow.
Hey, you got it, Coach. Nothing we can do about it, right? We are at the knees and mercy of Wi-Fi always.
For sure. If you need anything else, you let me know, man. Always nice talking to you.
All right, Coach. Thank you again.
Uh-huh.